In this video, there is a long demonstration of an application made for Microsoft HoloLens. The video was recorded on board the HoloLens, and it is my third year project, which basically enables people to be able to code on HoloLens, compile code, and it's focused more around like teaching and about, runtime visualization of code. So without further ado, I start off here by creating what's called a snippet. You can think of this as just a piece of code that is a static function but belongs to no class, and it's just kind of like an input-output machine. The first thing I did was add a return block, but you can see there I mistakenly added two. As with any function, we're going to need to set a return type. So we're going to set that to integer, and this is just going to be a very simple snippet that returns the number 6. You'll see the app cut out for a second there, just as it was compiling the code. And you'll see there, when it creates the number 6, it creates it physical, and this is the key concept of the app. Whenever you create an instance of something, it's physical so that it can be reused and you can give it to functions and pass it around. But anyways, I'll just store that number 6 there for safekeeping. We'll use that later. I've just popped it on top of the snippet there. What we can also do is we can create classes. So this targets the C# language, and it allows the user to write a very simplified version of C#, which looks kind of like Java. You'll see here I accidentally just pressed enter too early, and I can't delete that, so I just place it behind me. It's fine. Out of sight, out of mind. So we're going to do that again. We're going to create a class here that we're going to call car. And now once that's created, we're going to add a field. Those two windows got stuck in each other, but we're going to create a field and we're going to call it wheels. We're going to grab an integer text block and drop that in there because it is an integer field. And inside the constructor, which is attached to the car class, we're going to set wheels equal to a hard-coded 4, just for now. And you'll see there I'm using my hands for most of the interactions, except from when it comes to typing. I'm opting to use a Bluetooth keyboard as it's faster. Okay, and then we're going to compile that and we're going to create a car. Now you'll see the app is programmed so that when certain keywords, such as car, come up, the object instance is in fact a car, and you'll see it has 4 wheels because we set wheels equal to 4. And lovely, we're just going to place that to one side next to the 6. Now, let's spice things up a little bit. So I'm going to add a parameter to the constructor here. And we're just going to call this W, which is shorthand for wheels. We're going to make this an integer. And you'll see a little glowing cube has shown up on the constructor, as if to indicate that something goes in there. Well, we have just the thing, a number 6 from earlier. But there was one thing that I forgot to do, so I'm just doing that now. We're getting rid of the 4, and we're just going to tap on the W to copy that and drop it in. So we're now setting wheels equal to W, which is the input parameter of the constructor. I will drop the 6 on the platform, and now we will recompile, and we've created a car with 6 wheels. And the car can have any number of wheels, right? It's just a simple skin that's being applied to that object instance. And it has some simple code that just spawns wheels along the car. But we're going to set that aside. So, I'm trying to remember what I did now in this demonstration. I'm pretty sure I inserted some new lines. So you'll see here these little purple blocks pop up that allow me to insert stuff. And we're going to add another field. We're going to call this field color. And like wheels for the car, color is another sort of buzzword that the skin knows about and knows how to respond to in the case of a car. So when we set color, we should see the object instance of car, or at least the skin of the car will respond to that. So we're going to go ahead and set color equal to a hard-coded string red. Lovely. And now we press go, and we've created a red car with 6 wheels. Now notice how the other cars are staying behind. Now, as part of this application, to lend itself towards the sort of teaching aspect, all the objects are assembly independent. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, basically, the cars will all function the same regardless of what specific code they came from. So the user really can use any old car as long as it's got the same class name. They can use it in any context where the car class is required. And so here I'm spicing things up a bit more. I'm making a snippet that returns void, and we're going to go ahead and add an input parameter, C, which is shorthand for car. We're going to copy the car block, drop that in there, and now we've got this parameter that comes into the snippet. And what we're going to do, I think I'm still figuring out what we're going to do at this stage, making it up as I go along. There I've accidentally placed a block within a block. Let's delete one of those. But what we're going to do is we're going to increment c.tires, or c.wheels, I should say. So because it's void, it's just going to modify the object. So the object will stay on the input shelf, but it should be modified. So now as we press go, we should be able to increase the number of wheels on the car. And you'll see it just gives the user some real-time feedback. You'll see it's got 3 wheels on one side, but only 2 on the other side. And so long as we put it on that platform and keep clicking, it'll keep increasing. Now you can see we've placed it on the inspection platform there so that we can inspect the variables. Now, if the car didn't have such a nice skin that's kind of showing us what's going on, then the inspection platform's a way to see the state of all of the different fields for that particular object that is on the inspection platform. Now, just another thing that I'm adding to this code snippet is, I believe, the color I'm going for now. Just having some trouble with the input there. And so we're setting c.color equal to a hard-coded blue, I would have thought. Yeah, blue. And now the car should increase its number of wheels from 5 up to 6. And now we have a blue car with 6 wheels. We can place that on the inspection platform. and see those variables. You'll notice how color was a blank field because it was an older car. We had it before the car class even contained a field of color, so it was blank by default. And you'll see there I'm continuously clicking go to increase the number of wheels until we've got, I think, 10 on there now. It's just a nice visual indicator that gives you some feedback as to what's going on, but then of course we can go over to the inspection platform. So if this was any object other than car, you know, it can be any object. You can give it any name you want to in this particular application, but it would just be like a simple blank cube, kind of like the integer. It would just say the class name and the object ID. And I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to do there, but I think that just about wraps up this video. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.